Kernel essays for any situation in life. What other kinds of writing, other kinds of situations might involve reading or writing or talking or listening? Well, just about any kind that could ever come up in life. So when do people deliver messages to other people? Whenever they need to. If we take a look in our lives at how many different ways and situations happen that require someone to say something to someone else, we could put them into all different kinds of categories. But let's see some examples. How about when there's a problem that someone needs to solve, or a group might need to solve it, or this could require a speech in front of a city council, or one family member to another. It could be small groups or large groups. But it usually involves some sort of signaling a message to someone else. Here are two structures that are useful for solving problems. Take a look at them. The first one, the problem, that means I can't. Here's my plan to solve it, and here's the result. That could work for many situations. Here's another one. Here's the problem. Here's how I know there's a problem, some proof. Here's some solutions that didn't work before, and here's my solution. Do either of those ring a bell? Do you notice anything recognizable about either of those? Where did they come from? The top one came from Little Bo Peep, and the bottom one is the Declaration of Independence. What does this tell us? The structures are similar and very simple. The content is not simple in the Declaration of Independence. It is somewhat simple in Little Bo Peep. But make no mistake, having a simple text structure does not mean that the result will produce simple writing. It will produce a range of depth and complexity, no matter how simple the actual structure is. Which one of these looks more sophisticated, more academic? The top one, what we're going to make. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Or tips for doing something. Do this, don't do that, why not, and so. Which one of those do you think would produce something more academic? Well, the first one's from Pat a Cake, Baker's Man. The second one is from a Shakespearean speech when Hamlet's telling the actors how to perform. It's a little surprising, isn't it? Look at these two. If you were writing about something disappointing, the first one or the second one, do you think looks familiar? And which one would you want to use if you were writing about something disappointing? Well, it kind of depends on what you were talking about and what you wanted to say about it, right? The top one comes from the most famous speech in American history, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. The bottom one is, you can see, Rockabye Baby. Let's do one more. We can have some fun with these, calling them Name That Structure. Look at these two. Can you tell where they came from? Well, the top one is Little Boy Blue, Come Blow Your Horn. The bottom one, William Barrett Travis's Letter to the Alamo. We have these cataloged in two books. One is Text Structures from Nursery Rhymes. One is Text Structures from the Masters. Thomas Newkirk talks about reading and writing are really authentic when they involve an itch. There's an itch, like an urge to say something, and it's a personal one, grounded in a situation, grounded in reality. And when we do something to scratch that itch, we're either reading for scratching the itch, reading for information that we need, or writing something to convey to someone else some sort of a message. Maybe it's a text message that scratches the itch. But here are some examples of situations when we might need to say something to someone. The range is huge. We have models for each of those. These come from American history and the Hippocratic Oath, of course, stepping up to a new role. Peter Elbow wrote these sentences when he was talking about the difference between shallow, hollow writing that seems to be what we've taught kids throughout our traditional school lives for generations, where we write school essays that don't have a human audience. And Peter Elbow wrote these sentences: unless there is a felt question, a tension, a palpable itch, the time remains unbound. Without an itch of a sense of a felt problem, nothing holds the reader's experience together, however well the text itself might summarize the parts. In a writing class, we can offer students choices. Think about how many different situations there are. Here's a list of different moments that require students to send a message to someone else, to tell them something, to tell news, to buy something, to make a toast at a moment, to rant about how bad something is, to explain something, to make peace, to complain about something unfair, to tell what you liked about someone. And each one of those has a text structure already out there that we could find in those two sources: text structures from the masters, text structures from nursery rhymes, or any other source in the world. We could take any speech or any writing of any genre and see what structure that person used, and we could use it too. Authentic writing has all different looks. It could be formal or informal. It could be easy or difficult. It could be any length. But there's one thing about it that is always the truth. It's always a real itch. It always is from one person to other people.